Hello and welcome to Three Questions with my buddy Paul Cronin with us from True North Advisors. Good afternoon, Paul. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, great to see you again. Thanks for having me.
So, Paul, I'm getting old, buddy. And like everyone, when you start to get old, you start to think about what am I going to do with my business? I don't know who to sell it to, what it's worth. How does consulting agreements get involved in the sale of a business?
Sure, a lot of questions within that question, but to answer directly, so consulting agreements are usually one part of how you get to the purchase price. Let's say your business is worth, you think your business is worth $1 million. A buyer says, okay, I agree to that. I think I can get a $800,000 loan. I have $100,000 cash. What I need you as the seller is to provide me $100,000 of equity, so to speak. And how does that work? So it could be a seller's note, all right? It's I shouldn't say equity, but it's the delta. Another could be is, well, I like the business, but I don't know if you leave the business, Kevin, will customers leave? Will revenue go down? I need a little wiggle room. And so that's where a consulting agreement can come in place. You say, all right, well, I'll tell you what, as long as over the next 2 years, revenue stays, let's say, within a band of 10%, I'll pay you a consulting fee of $100,000. You may not be doing all that much work, but it's a consulting fee. If, on the other hand, business falls off 20%, well, you may only earn $80,000. If it falls off 50%, you may get nothing, right? And so it's gives you a little skin in the game. It's just another way of doing it. So you could have an equity investment by the buyer, a bank loan, a seller's note, which is kind of matches, it's a loan of some period of time, and then a consulting agreement. Those are sort of four elements that can add up to how you would get there and how consulting agreements can help get a deal done.
Consulting agreements seem to make sense for that transition, using my business, I am the business, So to your point, if I was to walk away tomorrow, there would be runoff, it's people who I like Kev, so I'm a member of his group because I like Kev. If there's no Kev, there may be no me. So that makes sense, like you said, you're like, hey, this is my revenue. Like, oh, it sounds great, thanks. And then you're like, hey, I just lost half the money in 6 months, and people didn't renew because I'm not personal friends with them like you are. So that's a legitimate concern, right, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. And where you've got a business, the formal name is like personal goodwill, where business is majority personal goodwill. You may not even be able to get a bank finance at all, the buyer rather. And so it really could be is, you become the bank. You say, hey, I think my business worth $1 million. And the buyer could say, great, I have 200,000 cash. You're going to float a loan of $800,000 or some combination of a consulting agreement or earn out or put things in escrow. There's lots of ways to kind of to skin that. So when you don't have a bank involved where, you're really sort of financing the deal, it's kind of putting more of the risk on you. But if you think about it, that's the highest risk in the business. You are leaving. And so there's different ways you can get there.
That makes sense, because like you said, you may not be able to get the loan and you want to make sure that transition's positive for the buyer. That's not like, hey, I saw you sold the business to Paul. Yeah, do whatever you want, Paul. You want to quit,
Yeah.
I'm out, man. So
I mean, just a quick story. I found a situation one time, a colleague was telling me where it was a manufacturing business. And so the way they solved this, that's called the value gap between what the buyer and seller want is, oh, well, all right, we'll tell you what, we're not sure you're ever going to get back to that sales number from 2 years ago, but as long as the baseline hits this number, we'll pay you a commission on sort of all the incremental units over that. And so they were able to get this basically kind of and earn a bonus to kind of get back and fill the gap between the buyer and the seller.
that makes sense. Like you said, you're incentivizing someone to continue to talk up the business. If someone's reaching out saying, hey, I saw you sold, can I trust Paul to manufacture our goods?
Absolutely.
And absolutely, he's a great guy and stuff. So, Paul, if people have questions about this, what's the best way to reach out to you to learn more, my friend?
Yeah, just reach out to my email, Paul, at, excuse me, 20 emails, pcronin@tnag.org. It's actually right in my Zoom profile.
Right in the
People are
Zoom.
seeing that. And then they can also go to tnag.org is our website, and then hit the contact us button and then get a hold of us.
Awesome. Paul, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.